We're a little bit more than afterlife, about five, but we went and saw a movie as a family today. My husband actually lost a friend this week as well. So it's something that we're thinking about in terms of holding people in our hearts and how we can take time away when we really need it, but also be efficient with what we need to do so our businesses, our tasks as homemakers don't fall by the wayside and we don't feel like we're completely behind, even when we want to take a little time away. And so tonight's topic is about how you can get more done in less time. And there are hacks that actually make a big difference. I've lived this life and I know how it works. And the bottom line is sometimes our to-do list can seem never ending, right? It can seem impossible to get through it all, but it is actually possible. And these tips will help you do just that. I'm talking about making small changes. I'm never an advocate of some big, huge sea change that's impossible to maintain because the key to this being successful for you is going to be your consistency. Now, I know right now you're a little bit doubting. You're like, oh, nothing's going to really help me. But I'm telling you, these tips work. I've tried it myself, tried and true. And that's why I'm sharing them here. So, first of all, write it down. I'm a big believer in making lists. But if you don't like actual physical lists, which I do, you get a wonderful little endorphin kick when you check something off your list. You can use notes. And notes actually has an incredible place where you can do things that you can check off just like this. So you can even have little spots where you check off what you do as you do it. And if you write down what you need to do, and I do this in a couple of different ways. The first thing I do is I write outliers down, like things that are completely unique and annual, I keep in one place, like getting the sprinkler system ready for winter. It's got to be done every year. So I have it on an annual list. And then I have a monthly list, and that list is going to include everything from reordering my supplements. I love my Young Living supplements, to making sure that all of my subscriptions are properly updated and processing, to making sure that I'm on target for budget and taxes, things like that. And then I have a daily list. My daily list includes things, including take your supplements, make sure I'm trying to think of my daily list, but you know what I'm talking about. The things move 30 minutes every day, write in my gratitude journal. There's a few tips, but I also have a whole list of business for each of those, and you can too. Writing it down gives you the opportunity to keep track of things, and it gives you the opportunity to rejoice when you do get something done as well, checking off that list. And I think it's important when things come up randomly, if you touch that thought and you say, oh, I'll remember that, you may not. So writing it down can really help. If there's something out of the ordinary, like make sure I follow up on that charge from Domino's, I'm not sure exactly what that was, follow up on that. You've got to write it down on a list. The next thing is to plan ahead. I really recommend doing this seasonally and quarter by quarter. We've talked about the daily, weekly, monthly list, but there's also the idea of a quarterly list. The fourth quarter for most entrepreneurs is going to be massive. Let's say you're in real estate. Maybe that's going to be the summer 3 months. Let's say you're a CPA. We know the quarterly tax times, and April is going to be really busy for you. So everything has a season, including the tasks you need to do at home or for your health. I give myself the birthday gift every September of doing all of my medical appointments. So I know I've got my dentist covered. I know I've gotten my mammogram. Check yourself, ladies. My annual physical. I usually don't go to the doctor outside of those. So it's something I make sure I plan annually. But at the end of the day, planning ahead makes me realize, oh, I better not plan this on this day because this is the day that's really heavy for me with my daily list of stuff I do for my job, stuff I do for my business. There's one day where I work on all of our blogs that we've just started. And so that day really has to not be a day that I set aside for other things. So when I plan ahead and somebody says, hey, would you like to meet sometime? I know not to say, Monday, that's blog day. So I arrange it and I plan ahead. The other thing is to eat that frog. If you haven't read that book, it's a great book. And what it means is doing the thing you like the least, the soonest. So if you've got kind of a big, hairy job, something that you really don't want to do, you're going to do an application to be a VA with somewhere, you're going to have a difficult conversation with someone, you're maybe blog writing is the thing you don't like. hey, holler at me if you don't like, I'm a copywriter. But maybe there's something that is in your list that day that's just yucky. Do it first, and everything else will flow so much easier. Turn off distractions. That's right. Turn off notifications and set a timer so that you won't be distracted. If you give yourself 15 minutes to focus on a specific task, I'm telling you, it will change your life. If you decide to try to do a blog while you're doing your email, while you're listening to text, while you're watching a television show in the background, why the kids might holler for help, while you're thinking about what to serve for dinner, you're absolutely not going to be as efficient. You will gain time by focusing on the task in front of you, and take breaks. The mind is not able to focus for hours and hours on end at optimal efficiency. You're just not your best. There is a point of diminishing returns. What does that mean? There's a point, and I bet you felt this before, right? Where you're just working and working and working, but nothing seems to be clicking. And then there are other times where you go to do something and it flows. It's just so easy. Things get checked off. Sometimes taking a break is exactly what you need to shift that rhythm. And taking a break will also give you new eyes. Have you ever been doing a puzzle and you absolutely can't figure out what to do? You take a break, you come back, and you're like, it's so obvious. Here are two simple fixes. I don't know how I missed that before. It's because with fresh eyes and a fresh mind, we do better. Next, I recommend that you eat a healthy breakfast. I know there are a lot of intermittent fasters, and so this does not apply to you. Or if you're keto, make sure it's a great keto breakfast. But getting a great start in the morning is feeding not only your body, but helping to fuel your mind. And when you're focused on what you're doing, it's going to help you do it so much more efficiently. You need to get some exercise. They have just come out with recommendations that 30 minutes of movement, of walking, in fact, every day decreases your chances of developing dementia by 60%. That is a phenomenal statistic. Let me say it again. I'm so glad you asked. Walking 30 minutes a day is going to help reduce your risk of dementia. And I'm not talking about He-Man competitions. I'm not talking about marathons. I think we tend to overinflate what we think we need to do to receive a benefit in terms of exercise. And I'm telling you, going on a nice brisk walk every day is going to change your work, it's going to change your memory, and it's going to change your health. It's also going to change your waistline. You can have a few more treats if you like those. Next, I would say to don't say no to tasks that don't fit into your schedule. If you're too busy to do the things that you want to do, I had a friend say one year she was making it a goal to put lotion on her legs. If you are too busy to put lotion on your legs, to go to a movie, to spend time with your children, you have got to rearrange your priorities. And so just say no to things you don't have time for, period. This includes volunteering, this includes additional work, this includes projects around your house or your neighborhood. If you don't have time for it, say no, because if you overfill your schedule, you simply won't be able to get to what you want to get to. The next thing is to delegate. There are plenty of things that you have on your list that you do not need to do. You can hire a VA. You cannot do it at all. You can have a family member do it. You can have an associate, a colleague, or even a direct report handle it. So if you need to delegate, do delegate. It's really important not to think that you need to do everything for your business or for your life for them to be successful. One way I delegate, and I talk about this all the time, I love it, is I delegate my grocery shopping to Walmart Plus. I delegate my Christmas and holiday shopping to Walmart Plus. I make sure everything gets delivered. I don't even have to worry about, do I have tape? If I don't have tape, boop, it gets delivered the next day. I delegate a lot of my writing to Jasper, which is an AI platform. If you don't know about that, I'll drop the link. It's a really great way to get your blogs written or your email subjects. It's how most influencers, how most writers these days are getting their cool stuff written, but I delegate. It's not necessarily to maybe a family member, but I outsource in a way that is very financially efficient. And then I schedule. I make sure I know every day, if it's Monday, what are my tasks? If it's Tuesday, what are my tasks? And each week I review that. Is it working for me? Is it not? So those are some incredible tips that are going to help you do more in less time. I challenge you to try it for a few days and see how it feels. I think you'll be impressed. And I think you'll be able to get a lot more done in a lot less time, which is the name of the game. I am so excited to see you guys tonight. I hope your rest of the day is going to be amazing. And I love you all. Take care. Have an amazing